Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 17th, 2024, and Barcelona just defeated Atletico de Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano 0-3. I forgot the score for a second, but 0-3 in what was an absolute solid performance by the entire squad. This is the post-match live analysis. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end. Unfortunately today, well not unfortunately, but today I was present at an event hosted by the Barcelona legend Patrick Kluivert. So I did not watch the match at home. I watched it outside. By the time I got home, it was late. So actually I just got home a few minutes ago. This is why I'm starting this post-match live analysis late. But the important thing is that we're here. We're ready to analyze today's match. So let's dive right into it. But first, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps the channel continue to grow so I can continue bringing you the most up-to-date Barcelona news. Now, let's start with the match analysis because Barcelona just defeated Atletico de Madrid 0-3. This is by no means a small feat. It's in fact a huge feat because first, it's Atletico Madrid. It's never an easy opponent. Second, this was at the Wanda Metropolitano, Atletico Madrid's home, where they haven't lost a single match for 25 consecutive matches. The last time Atletico Madrid lost a match at home was last season when Barcelona defeated them at home. So 25 match unbeaten record that just got decimated by Barcelona and by 0-3. So this was not like a close match where it was barely 1-0, 2-1, 0-3. So an absolute amazing result for Barcelona. And this is what I'm talking about. This is FC Barcelona. This is how Barcelona should be facing every match. A team that's solid, a team that's plays well together, a team that's efficient, and a team that shows up and gets things done. Not a team that hides behind excuses like injuries, because today, actually, we started out the match with some too bad news. First of all, we found out that Joao Cancelo was not going to be starting due to injury. It's looking like it's not an injury, looking like it's something personal that's going on in the player's life, because after the match ended, Fermin Lopez dedicated the victory this victory to Joao Cancelo, saying that he's going through some tough personal issues. We don't know what those issues are, but whatever they are, I do wish Joao Cancelo the best of luck. Hopefully he pulls through and hopefully everything goes well or gets better. And then we also found out that Andreas Christensen was not going to start because he had felt some discomfort in the training before match or in the warm-up. So 2 injuries right there, but Barcelona did not shy away, did not hide behind the excuse of injuries. Instead, we put in Hector Fort. We started Sergio Roberto, and the team showed up, handled business, and they won the match. So this is the Barcelona that we need to see every match. It wasn't the best of matches. This was not like necessarily a spectacle that we saw, but this was an efficient team, a solid team, a team that gets things done. And that's how Barcelona should handle every match. There's going to be some great matches. There's going to be not so great matches, some better than others. But if you show up, if you are serious, if you handle business, then you should be able to get results. Now, look at Real Madrid, for example. Real Madrid have been so successful in the recent years, not because they put some amazing display of football. No, it's because they're solid. It's because they're efficient. They know how to solve matches. And we've seen it time and time again where sometimes they play horribly, but they still win. And that's how Barcelona should face all their opponents. Of course, against other opponents, we're going to do much better because just the nature of it when you face a weaker opponent. But when you face bigger and stronger opponents, injuries or not, you still have to show up. You still have to be serious. You still have to do your job. And that's exactly what Barcelona did today. A very solid team, an efficient team, very good collective play. And all I have to say is bravo again to the team. Bravo to Xavi Hernandez, because this victory has huge implications for Barcelona. It has huge implications because it keeps us alive in La Liga race. It also has leapfrogged us into second place. So even if we don't end up winning La Liga, we're still going to finish in top 2, which means that we would qualify to the Spanish Super Cup. That's an automatic 6 million euros for Barcelona just for participating. Of course, you get more money if you make it to the final, and even more if you win the whole thing. So very important implications in La Liga. And of course, very important implications in the Champions League, because the team now is starting to believe in themselves. We saw it against Napoli, how they showed up, how they came out very motivated. We saw it today. Again, despite the 2 injuries at the beginning of the match, they still showed up. And the team is starting to gain confidence. The team is starting to believe in themselves. The team is starting to believe in the project. So very, very important step forward. And if the team continues to believe, I think we have a shot at beating PSG. And of course, we would be facing the winner of Atletico or Dortmund. And today we showed that we are more than capable than competing against Atletico. Of course, Dortmund, I don't think they're a more difficult opponent than Atletico. So this shows that Barcelona could still achieve some things during the season. Of course, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We still have to get through PSG. But nonetheless, a very important step forward and very important implications out of this victory. Not just the 3 points, but what the victory means in general. So good job to the team. Good job to Barcelona. This is what I want to see. I'm not asking for Pep Guardiola's Barca, but this is what I want to see in every match. Now, let's start with the chat section. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know if people are not leaving comments or if my live stream software is having problems, but I'm not seeing any comments. Let me actually check the YouTube app, because oh, yep, it's definitely my live stream software, because I see on the YouTube app there's a bunch of comments. So let's actually, I'm going to read off my phone. I'm not going to be able to display the comment on the screen, but I will read off my phone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've been talking about. StreamYard, absolutely garbage software. Another problem with it, now I can't see any of you guys' comments, but don't worry. I'm going to read them off my phone. So let's start with Cat Dad, who says, I have a lot of work to do, but still I can't stop watching every YouTube video about your victory tonight. To top it off with Catch 'em All Live. Thank you, Cat Dad, for your comment. And I'm sorry you have work to do, but thank you so much. Thank you for your comment, and thank you for your support. And Curtis says, for all the Lewandowski haters, I hope you can see what we have, one of the best strikers in the world still at his age. 100% agree with you. I'm not going to get into it too much detail, but I will discuss a little bit when I discuss players. And let's say Trick Chocolat says, I'm beyond happy. This was Barcelona football. Nothing could ruin my happiness from watching this clinic. Not even Rafinha's garbage ass 1-versus-1. Thank you. And I will talk about the players a little bit more. And Winston says, very, very mature performance. Even the younger players were performing at a high level. I am seeing some consistency now. The Barca we need to see. 100% agree with you, Winston. Yes, mature performance. That's a great word to describe it. This is what I was talking about when I say a solid team, a serious team, a team that shows up and handles business. This is a mature team, and this team is finally starting to look like what an FC Barcelona team should look like. Again, not the best display of football today, but that doesn't matter because we had a lot of injuries. It's a difficult opponent. It's a difficult stadium. But none of that mattered because the team showed up. They were serious. They were mature. They were solid. They handled the business. They got the victory. And that's what Barcelona should always aim to do. Not to hide behind excuses like injuries or the field or the ref, which I will talk about the ref. But no, none of that matters. This is FC Barcelona. We have to show up. Injuries happen to all the teams in the world. And what separates the greats from not the so greats is the great ones continue to perform whether with or without their star players. Sure, their performance goes down. Sure, they might not play as well without some other starting players when they get injured, but they still get the job done. Because if you're going to hide behind excuses, no big team would ever be able to win anything because all teams get injuries. And as soon as they get injuries, well, that's it. Season's over, right? We have injuries. No, that does not fly in FC Barcelona. And today it did not fly. And today Barcelona showed up. And this is, by the way, a good proof that Barcelona could still get results even with the injuries. You know, we've heard it so many times. Well, it's because Gabi, oh, it's Pedri, oh, it's Frank. No, today we didn't have any of those guys. And Barcelona still showed up against an extremely difficult opponent in a difficult stadium. They handled business and they won decisively. This was not some lucky penalty kick in the final moment that helped us win 0-1 or some lucky corner kick that one of the players, headed in. No, this was a decisive win. No excuses, solid performance. But let's look at the lineup of today, and then we will talk about the players. Now, Barcelona started with, of course, Ter Stegen in goal with Jules Koundé on the right back, Araujo and Pau Cubarsí as center backs, and Héctor Fort, who had to replace, again, Joao Felix, who at first it seemed like he was out due to injury, but it seems that he's going through some personal problems. In the midfield, we had Ilkay, Sergi Roberto, and Fermín López. Of course, Christensen suffering those discomfort during the warm-up. And then in the front three, we had Lewandowski, Rafinha, and of course, Joao Felix. Let me start with Marc Ter Stegen, because Marc Ter Stegen today had some incredible saves. I think it was during the first half where he does a save, gets up. No, second half. Second half, blocks a shot. Shot bounces to Depay. Depay shoots it. Ter Stegen gets up, blocks it again. Ter Stegen showing us that A, he's still the best goalkeeper in the world, and B, that the injury he had where he was out for almost, I think it was 2 or 3 months with that back surgery that he had, has not affected him. Ter Stegen is still the best goalkeeper in the world, and I'm very happy that he's under our post again. I will say one thing, though, and this is something I've noticed throughout the whole season, but Ter Stegen always gives us great saves. So then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say anything because I don't want to sound like I'm just nitpicking. So I kept skipping this over and over again. I don't want to do it again because I feel like if I keep going by like, oh, Ter Stegen gave us great saves, so I'm not going to criticize him. I'm never going to be able to criticize him because he always going to give us great saves. But something's off with Ter Stegen's passes. And we saw it today again. We almost got scored on where he passed it outside the box. I can't remember what Atletico Madrid player. I think it was Riquelme who Ter Stegen passes it directly to him. And then Riquelme shoots. Thankfully, it was off target. But Ter Stegen has been doing these mistakes a lot this season. A lot. Where he constantly passes the ball in critical areas to the opposing team. And I don't know why, because if there's one thing that Ter Stegen has been really good at throughout the years, besides his incredible saves, is his passes. Because some people don't know this, but when Ter Stegen started his career as a football player, he was actually a forward. But then one of his coaches along the way said, you should try to be goalkeeper. Thank God for that coach, because Ter Stegen is an amazing goalkeeper. So he always had really good passing because he had that footwork from when he was a forward. But this season, his passing has just been abysmal. But nonetheless, I don't want to complain because today Ter Stegen definitely saved us like he has saved us a million times before. Because again, he is, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world. More mentions, and I'm not going to go over all the players just to keep it short. I know I started this live stream late. I know it's late for a lot of people. It's late for me. I still have to make the news video and go to sleep because I got to work. But quick mentions. Jules Koundé. Another masterclass by Jules Koundé in the right back position. And Koundé is starting to look again like the Koundé from last season. Because Koundé from last season was absolutely solid. Thanks to him, Araujo and Christensen, we had the best defense in Europe. He did not start the season great. But since the new year, Koundé has been nonstop, great performance, and today was no different. Absolute masterclass by Jules Koundé. Another masterclass by Pau Cubarsí. My God, guys. This kid is absolutely out of this world. He is out of this world. Masterclass against Napoli in a knockout match in the Champions League. Starts today against Atletico Madrid in their own stadium. And it does not matter for him. It does not matter who Cubarsí faces, whether it's Almeria or Napoli, whether it's the Champions League, La Liga, or the Copa del Rey. This kid puts on masterclass after masterclass, and he's only 17. He's only going to get better and better. And if he's already doing what he's doing at this age, you can only imagine what he's going to be doing when he hits his prime. Or not even his prime, when he hits 20, 21. But this kid is an absolute monster. And then Hector Fort coming in for Joao Cancelo. He hasn't had much minutes with the first team. He's actually a right back, not a left back. And I did not see any difference. His side was no problems through his sides at all. He did his job defensively. Really good with the ball at his feet when he switched to offense. So really good job by Hector Fort, who, again, I did not notice that Cancelo had not started. Really, really great job by Hector Fort. And then in the midfield, İlkay Gündoğan. Once again, a masterclass by Gündoğan in the midfield. And I know he started the season a little bit slow, expectedly, because he had just came to Barcelona, a whole new team in a whole new league. But now every time I see him, he's starting to look more and more like the İlkay Gündoğan from Manchester City. And today was no different. Masterclass by İlkay Gündoğan. The way he distributes the ball, he's pretty much the orchestra director of the whole team. The way he just distributes the ball, the way he connects with his teammates, comes back and helps with the defense. He started that play for, was it the first goal? Second goal. I think it was the first goal where he passes it to Lewy and Lewy to Joao Felix. But another masterclass by İlkay Gündoğan. And another mention, Robert Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski. This is what I've been saying this whole season. Lewandowski hasn't been as effective as he usually is because he has not been getting the balls in the box. Lewandowski is a classic center forward. He needs the ball in the box so he can finish it. And for the longest time, the team were not getting him the ball, so he had to constantly track back to the midfield to try to find the ball there. And in the midfield, Lewandowski is useless because he's a center forward. He needs to get the ball in the box. He got the ball in the box today, and what happened? 2 assists and 1 goal. Ladies and gentlemen, Lewandowski is not finished. I don't care how old he is. He is far, far from finished. We saw it today. MVP, by the way, of the match. Amazing performance by Lewandowski. And he continuously proves my point. Whenever he gets the ball in the box, he scores. And when he doesn't, well, of course he's not going to score because he's a classic center forward. So Lewandowski, once again, showing us the world class. The only negative thing about today is our wingers. We still have a big problem with our wingers. Joao Felix, besides the goal, not much. Rafinha, great assist to Lewandowski in his goal. But besides that, not much either. And this is going to be a problem that Barcelona are going to have to fix. Besides the pivot position being a priority for the summer, I think the wings are going to have to be a priority too. Of course, on the right, we do have Lamine Yamal, but we need someone, a proper winger to alternate with him. I don't think Rafinha and Ferran are Barca level and need to be alternating with Lamine. Maybe bring up someone from the academy, maybe sign a low-cost right winger. And then the left wing, we don't have anyone. So that's going to be a problem that Barcelona need to address because our wingers continue to be a problem. But anyways, let's get back to the chat section. We'll talk a little bit about the substitutions and a little bit. I do want to talk about the referee a little bit. But let's get back to the chat section. And then again, I'm going to be looking at my phone because, of course, my streaming software, it is not working. Right, let's see. Mark says, Mo, imagine Barcelona with a better coach. Great point. Even though today Xavi did do his job, but this is something I've been saying for the longest time. You know, Barcelona have quality players. You know, people just want to blame the players, whereas the players are at fault, partly at fault for what Barcelona have been going through. But despite that, we still have quality players. People keep forgetting that. You know, we have Pedri, Gavi, Frankie, Gundo, Araujo, Kunde, Christensen, Lamine, Hector Fort. I mean, the list is endless. So this is a team with lots of great quality. So it's not just the player's fault. It's also the coach. And it's evident because we have quality players. All right, let's see. What else? Hart says, solid performance indeed. Great team and individual performance as well. Leo and Rafinha have had a good game today. Fermini to improve more on the ball control and need to pass faster. Still good goal. I agree, except with the part of Rafinha. I don't think Rafinha did much besides the assist to Lewy. That was a great pass to Lewy. Besides that, I mean, he was constantly losing the ball. He had that opportunity where I think it was Lewy who sends him across. He's by himself in front of goal, and he heads it in the most horrible way, which I already knew his dribbling was terrible. Already knew his decision-making on the ball was terrible. I didn't know his heading was that terrible either. So I guess another thing to add to his list of bad things. So I don't think it was a great match. I don't know. People will say I'm a hater, but if you can point today at one thing that Rafinha did great besides that assist, please let me know in the comment section because I didn't see it. Jose Fernandez says, if Barca keeps their defensive front strong while providing clean sheets, there are no limits for Barca for the remainder of the season. I think if Barcelona keep being the solid, mature, serious team that they have shown us they could be in today's match and in the match against Napoli, I think we could do some damage. I don't know if we can win La Liga yet because Real Madrid are 8 points ahead of us. They don't seem to be slowing down, but we have a shot at maybe doing some damage in the Champions League. And I'm not saying that we can win it or that we're going to win it, but if we can make it to semifinals, maybe if we can make it to the finals. I mean, that would be a huge boost for Barcelona monetarily, and it would be a huge boost in our chances to make it to the Club World Cup, which would also be a huge boost for the club monetarily because they're saying it's 50 million euros just to participate in the Club World Cup. That's not even counting the bonuses for winning matches and advancing through stages. Okay, let's see. Kostov says, bro's hate for Rafinha is real. He actually did way better than his usual last night. No, he didn't. Let's see what else. Sampana says, Xavi has gotten the tactics right since he moved Christensen to the pivot. Well, today Christensen didn't play in the pivot. But Xavi has been doing better lately. But let's see, because we need consistency. And that's one thing that people keep forgetting about. You know, I think us fans, we sometimes are fickle. We see like one great performance by a player or by a coach, and we automatically say that player is great or that coach is great. Or the opposite, right? We see one bad performance by a player or by a coach, and then we say that player is terrible. And it's not neither here nor there. It's about consistency. You know, is that player having a great performance, you know, once every 10 matches? Is he having a great performance half of the matches? Is he having great performance most of the matches? Because that's what separates great players from not so great players. Right? Great players have great performances 70, maybe 80% of the time. Not 100. That's unrealistic. That's impossible. Even the best in the world have had bad matches. You know, even Lionel Messi has had bad matches. Even Pep Guardiola has had bad matches as coaches. But what makes a coach or a player great is consistency. And how many of the matches they participate in, how many of those are great. That's one thing about Rafinha that I keep saying. Rafinha gives you 1-2 great matches every 10 matches. That does not make you a great player. Rafinha has had 2 great performances this season. He had against Getafe in that 4-0 and against Napoli. That's it. He hasn't had, that does not make you great. There are plenty of players in mid-table teams who have great performances, but they never make it past their mid-table teams because they can only do that half of the season. Can only do that half of the matches they participate. And that's why they end up spending their whole careers at the clubs that they're in. You know, Iñaki Williams is one example, right? There's other example like Soler in Valencia, right? So 1, 2, 3 great performance does not make you a great player. The same as 1, 2, 3 bad performance doesn't make you a bad player. It's consistency. And so far, Rafinha hasn't given us consistency. Xavi hasn't given us consistency. Xavi has had maybe 4 or 5 good matches this season, tactically speaking. So, you know, that's the thing. We cannot be as fickle as just like looking at one performance and saying, oh, well, you know, he had one good performance. That's it. We should keep him forever. Okay, let's see what else. Sean says, good performance from the team today. The double save from Ter Stegen was out of this world. 100% agree with you. Ter Stegen, man, there's a reason why they always call him Ter Stegen Airlines, because that dude, more than an airline, he's an octopus. I seriously believe that he has more than 2 arms because the saves that he pulls are absolutely brilliant. But let's talk real quick about the substitutions, and then we'll end the live stream because, again, it is pretty late. I don't want to keep you guys up too late. And also, I want to do the news video. Lots of exciting news, by the way. Make sure to be on the lookout for the news video. But let's talk about the substitutions again because once again, I was a bit confused about the substitutions. I think Lamine for Rafinha at the 60th minute was the right choice. I'm glad that Lamine was rested. He played the entire 90 minutes against Napoli where he ran a lot. So he needed that rest. So I'm glad that Lamine did not start, even though we needed him. But we need to prioritize his longevity over matches or results right now. So I'm glad that he was rested and he came in the 60th minute. But where I think one substitution came late and the other one did not make much more sense to me is the Oriol Romeo for Sergi Roberto. Because Sergi Roberto had a good match. Not a fantastic performance, but he did his job. But by the 60th minute, Sergi Roberto was tired. You could see it on his face. He had lost a lot of pace. He was, barely running, kind of struggling to run after the ball. And at that moment, he should have came out. We shouldn't have waited until I think it was the 78th minute to bring in Romeo. I think that substitution should have came first, because if one of your midfielders is exhausted and cannot run, that's a big problem, because that leaves a big gaping hole in your midfield. The other substitution I did not understand is Vitor Roque. And the crazy thing is that I called it, because as soon as I saw Vitor Roque warming up, I looked at my friends and I said, I bet you anything that they're going to take out Joao Felix and they're going to put in Vitor Roque as a left winger. And that's exactly what happened. And I still don't get it, because Lewandowski had a great match. Don't get me wrong. 2 assists and 1 goal, MVP in the match. Absolutely stunning performance by Lewandowski. But we were already up 3-0. Did Lewandowski need to play the entire 90 minutes? Why not rest him? He's about to go on the FIFA international break. He's going to play both matches with Poland, because, it's Poland. He's their best star. Of course, they're going to play him 90 minutes of each match. And then right after that, we have a pretty tough calendar. Why not rest him? Why not bring in Vitor Roque the last 10, 15 minutes and have him play in his natural position? Why do you have to play him on the left wing? If we want Vitor Roque to adapt to the center forward position, how is he going to do that if he's not playing in that position at all? So that substitution did not make sense to me. Another thing is Xavi's red card. This has become a very serious problem, because Xavi is constantly getting yellow cards. And I think this is his 2nd or 3rd red card of the season. And that's a problem, because I think Xavi's getting more cards as a coach than he was as a player. And sure, sometimes the referees are unfair with him. I do agree with that. I think the best example was the first match against Getafe, the first match of the season, where Xavi complained and he got carded. Meanwhile, the Getafe coach was like yelling and screaming and waving his arms. He even invaded the pitch a couple of times, and nobody said anything to him. So don't get me wrong. Referees are unfair with Xavi. But if you know the referees are unfair with you, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep screaming at them? Why do you keep complaining? Xavi needs to control a little bit more his temper, because he cannot keep getting carded like this. Of course, I get it. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's bound to happen. All coaches eventually get yellows or reds. It's bound to happen. But not with this many. Not with this frequency, where he's constantly getting cards. And that's something that Xavi needs to look at and needs to consider and needs to get under control. But nonetheless, good performance by Xavi. Good performance by the players. I'm not trying to bash his performance because he got himself expelled, but I do think it was unnecessary to get himself expelled. The ref. Let's talk about the ref, because during the first half, I was seriously considering going on Google and booking myself a flight to fly to Madrid and throw a chair at that ref's head, because the first half was an absolute disaster by that ref. Every little touch by Barcelona was a foul. Anything that Atletico did was not. Same thing was with the cards. Every foul by Barcelona was a card. Anything by Atletico Madrid, man, it's okay. It's not that serious. Second half was much better, but first half was definitely very frustrating to see how the ref was reffing, because there was absolutely no criteria. Because if you're going to call one foul a foul, you're going to have to call it for everybody. You can't just call it for one team and not the other. But here's where I'm saying that Barcelona today were a mature, serious, solid team that showed up and handled business. Despite the referee being horrible, Barcelona still handled business. They did not hide behind the excuse, well, the referee, he's not fair. No, they still did their job, because this is what big teams do. If you ever go back and watch the press conferences of Johan Cruyff, he never talked about referees, because he didn't need to. because his team showed up and would do their job. And when you do your job, you minimize the mistakes of the referee. Like today, we scored 3 goals. There was a clear penalty on Jules Koundé. But does it matter? No, because we won 3-0. Sure, it would have been nice to make it 4-0, but it doesn't matter. We still won, right? Had we not done our job and been tied the whole game and finished the game tied 0-0, now we'd be just talking about the ref. Oh my God, if hadn't been that penalty, we could have won, blah, blah. And that's the thing. That's what Barcelona did good today. They were serious, they were mature, they were solid, they were efficient, and they showed up, they did their job. So the referee's horrible awfulness did not matter. No, neither did the injuries, neither did the fact that Xavi got expelled. None of that mattered because Barcelona showed up and did their job. And that's what we ask of Barcelona. This is why I ask of Barcelona to be a serious, solid, mature team, not one that hides behind excuses, but one that shows up and handles business. That's what I want to see from Barcelona. I'm not asking for a Trebel. I'm not asking for Pep Guardiola's Barca. I'm not asking for Luis Enrique's Barca. I'm asking for what I saw today and what I saw against Napoli. So good job to the team. Good job to Xavi. Let's do a few more comments and then we'll end the live stream and I will do the video, the news video. Again, be on the lookout for that video. There's some really good news in there. Okay. Let's see. SA says, wait, I think SA is responding to someone. All right. See, this is doing the comments on the phone is actually pretty crappy, but I'll try my best. Do not touch says teenager don't care about soccer. We care about drinking and smoking. Now as UG adult soccer is his life again. Fair. I gotta say, when I was a teenager, I didn't watch much football because I was being, I was too busy being an idiot. But I get it. SA says it's not fair to Rafinha either because he ain't putting out Barca performance. Know what I mean? Lose thing. Not sure I understand what you meant. But Harris says, do you think Xavi should still go if we finish the season like this? I think so because Xavi has been very inconsistent in his performance. And with the project that we have, we need more consistency. We need someone who can, be more consistent with his performance, someone who can build the project on a solid foundation. I think Xavi would have been better maybe arriving later once the project was already built. But right now, the project needs a direction. And right now, it doesn't have any. The team has yet to develop any identity. The team has yet to develop any style of play or any system of play. And Xavi's been at the helm for, 2.5 years? So this should have already happened. If it hasn't happened by now, I don't see it happening. So yes, I do think we would still need to change Xavi. Even if we win the Champions League, I would still say the same thing because we need more. We need a coach that can give direction to our project. And I don't think Xavi is it. I think he really did come too early to Barca. I wish Xavi would have listened to Laporta in taking over the Barca Athletic job and learned there, because that's what the Barca Athletic is for. Barca Athletic has never been a team for Barca to win trophies or to qualify to the second division. Barca Athletic has always been, a reserve team for Barca, a team where the youngsters can learn and see if they can make it to the first team or not, and for our coaches to learn. And that would have been a perfect place for Xavi to learn. But he insisted he wanted the first team, and, unfortunately, his decision was costly to him and to us. Okay, let's see. Sampana says, the subs were terrible from Xavi. That showed Xavi's inexperience as a manager. I like Xavi and his philosophy, but damn, he needs experience. He does need experience. And I don't know about philosophy because I don't see much philosophy, which is crazy because, he came up through like the academy. He played under Guardiola and Luis Enrique. He's the best midfielder in our history, probably the best midfielder in the world, in the history of football. It's crazy that he just cannot seem to communicate his philosophy to the players. Let's see. One more, and then we will end it. What else? Let's see. Yeah, this is doing it on the phone is definitely not the business, guys. It's definitely not the business. Thanks a lot to StreamYard for your constantly horriblessness. Is that a word? It is now. And Ross, my man, says Lewa looking good. Off subject. Hey Mo, what's the tattoo on your arm? PS, like the post. It's a little bit too long to get into, but I will get into it one day, maybe during the podcast since they are a little bit longer. And Abdul says, I'm Oscar watching from Ghana, Bisca Barca. Abdul, watch the news video. I have some news for you about that is related to Ghana. All right, that is it, guys. Thank you for tuning in, for your likes, for your subscriptions, for your comments. Again, sorry about starting this late. I was at an event watching the match, and sorry about the whole comment section not working here on StreamYard. But I will see you in the news video in a little bit. It should be up, I'm thinking, in an hour. Again, be on the lookout for it. Lots of great news on there. And as always, Visca Barça.